I am convinced that 99% of the people out there will not make it. They will not achieve their dreams. You know how I feel about dreams. Dreams only happen while you're asleep. It is about setting goals, but people don't set goals, and 99% of the people will not make whatever it is that they say they want to do, because at the end of the day, it is just words. There is no actions behind it. Let's get into it. So welcome to another episode of Candid Conversations, hosted by your truly tech coach Ralph, where we're in Junior Twin. Today, I want to talk to you about some changes that I'm making, different things that I'm seeing left and right. I've spoken to a few people about it. It's crazy. I want to talk to you about that and the changes that I'm going to be making. Good for me, maybe not so good for you, or is it? Who knows? We will find out. But let's get into it. Before we go any further, do me a big favor: like the video, share the video, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell so you can know every time we go live and drop new content. And drop me a comment as well. Let me know what you think. Am I off? Am I wrong? Should I not implement these changes? But I'm still going to implement them anyways. It is what it is. And go to techcoachralph.dev, where you can get access to exclusive content and pretty much one of the only places you'll be able to communicate with me as well. techcoachralph.dev. You can sign up for one-on-one coaching. We can run it up together. But with that being said, let's jump into our topic of the day. So, and normally I just kind of speak, but I have a bunch of notes here because there's a lot of things I wanted to touch on, right? So I started off saying 99% of the people won't make it. Why do I say that? I think that majority of people, 99% to be exact, are not serious. They hear something and say, oh, you know what? I should do this. Cybersecurity. Oh, I want to get into cybersecurity. Software testing. Oh, I want to get into software testing. Software engineering. Oh, I want to get into software engineering. And then they'll bounce around, switch. And it's like they're like no research, no thought behind it, no dedication. And then once they actually hear the amount of work that it takes, how hard it is, and it's like, I can't just do this in 6 weeks. I mean, after all, I went to college for God knows what, but I want to get into this really, really tough industry, and where I want to make a lot of money, and I want to have like 5 different jobs at the same time, but I want to go fast. I want to get it done fast, right? And that's when I know, like, all right, these people, they're definitely going to fall apart, and they're not going to last. So you would not believe, or maybe you would, because maybe you do it yourself, how many people will reach out to me who ask questions, and then I take my time to give them a very detailed answer, and then I never hear back. Like, it's like they never even read the message or anything like that. They never follow up. They never sit, like, because and when I give an answer, I'll give it detailed, but I leave enough so that you can ask a follow-up question, and they never ask a follow-up question. You know, so many people, they're always talking and I want to do this, I want to do that, and they have absolutely nothing to show for it. And it's so, I want to say it's weird, but I'm also not surprised, because I'm sure a lot of people, might even be you, who grew up around other people who says, oh, I want to do this, I want this, I want that house, I want this car, and then they don't do anything about it. And I've seen so many people that I'm in my immediate family who get burned by the want to help people, to help family members, because, you know, they're in a bind, Nate. And it's like, you want to help them out, and then they totally fumble what you did for them, unappreciative. And it's like, you are wasting your time. You guys know how I feel about my time. My time is my currency. If I could buy back a lot of the time that I wasted in the past, I would do that in a heartbeat. So it's just so funny. And then the type of conversations that you'll have with people is like, they don't do any research. It's like you are their research. So they'll be watching a live stream or something, and then someone asks like, oh, okay, what type of field should I go into? Or they're watching these videos, cybersecurity this, software engineering that, boot camp here, boot camp there, and it's like, I want to go into cybersecurity. And they fail to realize that there's like so many different fields inside of cybersecurity. Or there's so many different fields inside of software engineering. You can be front end, you can be back end, you can be, there's DevOps. There's graphic designers. There's there's UI UX. There's so many, like, the tech field is so vast. I want to get into tech. What the hell does that mean? I want to get into tech. Okay. Is it some type of fancy club? No. But people are so enamored and consumed by these terms of cybersecurity, tech, IT, and they don't even take the time to do a little bit of research. A simple Google search, what are the fields in cybersecurity, would show you a bunch of different a bunch of different areas that you can go into, and then you can research to see, okay, which one would be more fitting for you. But so many people, they just come and it's like, I want to get into cybersecurity. I want to get into cybersecurity. And I'm like, what are you talking about? Like, do you even care about the things about the words that are coming out of your mouth right now? And honestly, I don't believe they do, because they're just trying to fit in, right? So then when you start say, hey, I'm gonna give you an example earlier, right? People say, oh, I'm trying to I want to get into cybersecurity. I want to get some certs. Okay, what part of cybersecurity? I don't know. Or they don't even respond. And I'm like, okay, why am I wasting my time answering these people? Yes, I said these people. Why am I wasting my time answering these people? People don't even research. They don't even take the time to research what it is that they say they want to get into. And then they want to get upset when these boot camps scam them. I believe most boot camps are, I won't say most, but I believe a lot of boot camps are scamming people. But it's to your own peril, because you didn't do any research. You didn't take any background. Like, okay, what do I want to get into? Do I even like what I'm going to be getting into? Is there a way I can get an example of what I'm going to be getting into? No, it's just, oh, it's $10,000. Let me go pay the $10,000, and then I'm going to be done in 6 weeks, and I'm going to be making $200,000 in my first 3 months. Like, what are you talking about? You listen to these people online. They're saying, oh, job stack and take these 4 or 5 jobs and be overemployed and stuff like that. And then you don't really learn anything. You don't get anywhere. It doesn't make any sense. But then also people value court, and this is why they end up in these super expensive boot camps and don't learn anything, right? Because they value, I guess in certain communities, that education is the end all be all. While for me, making money and being able to use what I learned is the end all be all, right? When it comes to career wise, skill wise. But it's like people, they just want to, how many people say, I'm thinking about going back to school. I'm like, but you've been in school for forever and you don't have anything to show for it. Like, what are we doing here? So people, they want to collect endless certifications and they don't even know why. I want to get certified in cybersecurity. Okay, what certificate? I just want to get certified. Like, for what? Like, is the field you're going into even require a certification? Doesn't everything? Like, no, what the heck? What are we doing here? What are we doing? Certifications don't land jobs. Do they help? Of course, if it's relevant. How many times have you seen me on the Q&A shows go over the I want to get my ISTQB. I want to get my ISTQB. I have not met one person, and I'm sure they exist out there, but I have not met one person. And if you're watching this and you are that one, and you're one of these people, leave me a comment, prove me wrong. But I have not met one person who went and got their ISTQB certification, at least in the United States. And they said that was the make or break that helped them get the job. Because there will be some government contracting positions for software testing where they'll say they want you to have the ISTQB, but you can have that ISTQB, but you don't know nothing about software testing and you will not get the job. I'm pretty sure they would rather hire somebody who with experience in software testing and then have them get their certification at that point, instead of, oh, I'm trying to get into testing. Let me go get my ISTQB certification. Like, what are you like? Do you not speak to people who have been in testing? Every person that I've seen who's been in software testing for a very long time, they will tell you that the ISTQB is a waste of time unless you are working specifically for an organization that needs it for some contracting position. Outside of the United States, I don't know. I don't know. I don't care what happens in all these other countries. How, like, if they're like, because I know some places, like they like, oh yeah, it's so important, so important. But that's because you end up working for a testing contracting company who they use that to marketing stuff, right? It's all a grift. It's all a grift. But you fall for it every single time and you don't know anything about what you're talking about. Right? So certifications, they do not land jobs. They will help you if you have the right education and practical experience, but the certifications, it is not the end all be all. So many people, I want to get certified. I want to get certified. I want to get certified. Okay, cool. You have a piece of paper that says you were able to pass a test. Congratulations. You played yourself, right? It's just, and this is the stuff that I see on a day-to-day basis that it really annoys and frustrates me. See, and this is why I keep my coaching group really, really small so I can dedicate my time to people one-on-one. Because, and they'll tell you, I'll tell them the truth. I am hard on them, but I will tell them the truth. And I will, like, when they're slacking off, like, hey, you're slacking off. You got to do this. You got to do that. And then if I'm coaching somebody and then they want to tell me how they are going to be coached, I can get someone else to replace you. I'm like, if you knew what you needed, then you wouldn't need me, right? You would be where you want to be, but no, you're here, right? So let's work at it, right? So another thing I want to say, networking is only as effective as your knowledge and your skill set. Simple as that. So many people, they want to do a heavy emphasis. Oh, networking. Oh, I've heard this story. Do I believe it? Not so much, but that's just me. But it was a story like, I met somebody at this networking event and I went to apply for a job at where they were working at, and the people wanted to say, like, they didn't want to hire me, but this person who was at the top, they laid their life down on the line for me. That said, oh no, you have to hire this person. You have to. I'm like, man, give me a break. And if that did happen, that is a 1 in a million opportunity, because if there are parameters, like when it comes to hiring, is the person a good fit? Do they have the skill set? All that good stuff. Just because you met somebody somewhere the way that people market stuff in order for you to buy into their nonsense thing, that just because something may or may not have happened for them, that is going to happen for you, it is all BS. We don't want to prepare. We just think, oh, let me just meet this person. No, you need to know the information. You need to have something to show. You do not have anything to show, and it's going to lead to immense failure. Right? Next up, people are not preparing. They're not preparing like in the ways that they study. They're not preparing in the way that they communicate. They're not preparing in the way that they have their resumes and knowing what's on their resumes, or building stuff to actually put on their resumes. It's all fluff, and they'll lie on it, and it doesn't actually lead to anything. Right. And then they want to apply endlessly for jobs and wondering why they're not getting hired. Well, congratulations. You played yourself. All right. So, and part of preparing, when you go into these interviews, right, and you just try to wing it, you don't have any prep, you don't have any practice, you don't study the job description, you don't see what on your resume aligns with the job description. What can you use? I was coaching somebody the other day. An interview is a storytelling process. Yes, they're asking you questions, but you're looking every single question. And I'm going to make a Patreon video about this on how to actually like the strategy for answering interview questions, right? But every question that they ask you, you need to tell them a story that takes them down a journey about how you did something absolutely amazing. I'm going to break it down how I do it. I'm telling you, when I'm doing mock interviews with people, and I'm in the view of the interviewer, and I ask them, like, do you have any questions for me? And then they ask me some random question. I find, like, I totally wing it on my answer, but it sounds like I work for the company, and I have no idea what this company does for the most part. All I have is a job description, right? But it's knowing how to communicate, knowing how to sell yourself. Many people, in an interview prep the other day, the I told the person, like, you're trying to give a perfect answer instead of trying to sell yourself. You're thinking and you're looking around and stuff like that instead of just hitting them with it. Like, this is why I'm awesome. Every question should come back to you. This is why I'm awesome. This is what I did to show that I'm awesome, and this is how I did it. But it's like you're trying to get some canned response, trying to memorize something, and it's like, oh, I don't know how to pretty much communicate, and I was raised knowing how to memorize. I'm like, well, you gotta change that. Like, I don't care. I don't care about your past, about your upbringing. I am not your therapist. Coaches are not therapists. We work so that whatever was, whatever past issues that you have, how are we going to train to overcome them? We can all, so many people, I want to look back at the past. I want to look back at the past. I want to look back at the past. That's why when you're always looking backwards, you will never see what's in front of you. You will never, it's like driving, but driving by looking in the rearview mirror. That's like, that makes no sense. It's nonsense. And that's the nonsense is the way that you approach your day-to-day life. You just want to endlessly, some people, they'll create scripts to go and apply for any job. Like it'll search for things and just apply for jobs. Just apply for jobs. That is not the way that Selenium was supposed to be used. That is not the way Player was supposed to be used. Right? But whatever. But they're applying for these jobs and they don't look to see how they can find a leg up on this. I'm going to give you an example in a little bit but I was able to work with somebody that I was coaching saying, hey, this job is looking for this very specific knowledge of this software. Not many people have it. You might not have it right now, but let's see if there's a way that we can maneuver and to like just getting some information just to make the people say, wow, that was some initiative. I'm going to share with you in a little bit. Right. So this is the story. Just the other day, I mentioned it a little bit on a couple of live streams, but just the other day, I had somebody that I'm coaching. They had an interview coming up, a really, really big interview. Oh my God. And just thinking about it right now, it just upsets me again because when you have somebody who's been looking for a position for a very, very long time, they don't like the job that they're currently doing. And now they actually have the opportunity to get one of the jobs that they actually studied for and that they want. And now they're like, all right, let's do interview prep. And to add, I am like, when it comes to interview prep and for you getting a job, the people that I'm coaching, they know that I will give them more time than like, I'm like, all right, we're going like, let's say you have 30 minutes to an hour of coaching calls a month. I'll say, you know what? That goes out the window right now. We're going to be spending 45 minutes 2 to 3 times the week of your interview so that we can get all the bugs out. And I'm going to make your interview so much harder than it's going to be when you actually have the interview, because I want you to be comfortable and smooth and confident and all of that good stuff. Right. So, and the reason I just share that, right? Because making like triple the amount of money that you're making now, and then you show up to the interview, like to the mock interview, totally unprepared. You pretty much don't even know what the job is about. It's like, and you're getting the opportunity of a lifetime here. So we did 2 rounds of prep. The first round, a total disaster. They totally unprepared. And I had to check them. I'm like, what the hell are you doing? You say you want this. You say this is important, and you don't, like, you barely even read the job description. You didn't even research what was in the job descriptions to know like how to maneuver, how to pivot, what questions to ask. You're just asking some random questions. And I'll tell you this, before we even did the interview prep, right? I sent them, hey, these are the type of questions that you might be asked on the interview. We use ChatGPT to find them. In the Patreon, I'm going to share how I use ChatGPT to give you questions that you might be asked in an interview and questions that you should be asking in an interview, right? But I sent it to them. I'm like, all right, look at these. You don't have to memorize anything, but like read through them so you can have an idea of how you're going to answer. Guess what happened? They didn't do it. I said, okay, did you do it? No. I'm like, why? Oh, I focused on some questions that somebody else gave me. I'm like, okay, are you? Is that person your coach? Like, is this what we're doing? Is this what is that what we're doing? Right? Like, and I, man. Now, the second attempt was a lot better. They were they were much more prepared. Still needed some work, but and that's why I like to do like 2 to 3 rounds of interview prep, because the first one, and I record it so you can watch it back, which that just reminded me of another story. I recorded it. So in our second interview prep, I'm like, did you watch the first one? Oh no, it was so bad. I'm like, whoa. Who gave you the, like, who made you think that it was optional? And that's the part, like, imagine a coach or a trainer telling you that, okay, this is what I need to do. This is the workout. This is the regimen. And you're like, oh no, that's too hard. I'm like, you're out of there. You're out. Like, what? Who are you to tell the person that you hired as a trainer what you are going to do and what you're not going to do? It doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense. Right. And they were like, oh no, I just couldn't stomach to watch it. I'm like, I don't care I don't give a flying, you know what, on what you care to do or what you don't care to do. Everything is a learning experience. Why? Like, when I lose, like, you see me on the channel, when I lose, when I win, I'll go in, I'll review my jiu-jitsu competitions to see, okay, and I analyze, like, the things that I did good, cool, great. But I analyze very, very meticulously the things that I did wrong, because that is how you learn. That is how you grow. I'm like, I don't care how you feel about your performance, because guess what? You were not prepared, but you need to go back and watch it to see all the times that you were looking around, that you weren't sure, that you, like, you know, and fix it, We need to learn from our mistakes and fix it. And that's why it really irks me when I tell somebody to go and do something and then they're like, no. I'm like, well, then get out. Like, my coaching is not a democracy. I will take what you say under advisement, but, and then I'm like, okay, you know what? That's fine. But if it's like, well, I'm going to do what I want to do, I'm like, go do what you want to do somewhere else. Like, because my time is way more valuable. I would rather be building out the Urban Dictionary of Economic Data. I'd rather be working on our time cost calculator app. I'd rather be working on the next app that we have coming up. I'd rather be working on my quotes application. I'd rather be running Scrum nights and doing sprint reviews and stuff like that. So if you want my time to help you, to coach you, all that stuff, and you're not going to do what I asked you to do, then go. Like, I mean, that like, it's, if you want to win, follow what your coach and your trainer says. And the video that is going to be releasing in the Patreon this week is one of my most successful tech athletes. I'll call him a tech lead. I don't know, whatever, right? They did an internship. The company loved them, hired them in help desk, and they're like, man, I'm having a lot of trouble supporting my users. I'm like, well, you got to go learn about the mortgage industry, because that's the industry that you're in. And now they learned it. I had them do a presentation about it. I'm uploading that to the Patreon, so you definitely want to check that out. And now they're so much better at supporting their customers. They understand the technology, they understand the software, they understand the terminology for the mortgage industry. And that's the type of thing I'm like, all right, this is what I need to do. And then, you know what, they're like, you got it, coach. Plain, like, but that's how I can see the success, because I tell them, all right, I need you to go do this. Done. Yup, I'm on it. It's never, I don't know about that. I'm like, well, you know, if that's why you're here, right? Because you don't know. Anyways, whatever. So back to the interview, right? So they had the interview, and guess what? The person was interviewing they said that they were impressed. Why were they impressed? Because, so this is what I did. I found the software that was the open source software that they're going to be using. I'm like, all right, we're going to go install it. And this person, not very technical at all. So we jumped on a call, and I had him go through installing how to install Git, on their computer, and then how to install Docker, and then they things that we do on this channel, right? But they're not the most technical person, and which is fine because they're not really going for a technical position. And I had them install it, and I'm like, cool. Now you have this. Now you have the application. Log in. They installed on their computer. They logged in through. They logged in, and they start. I'm like, play with it, get familiar with it. So by the time you have the interview, when they ask you, have you ever used the software? Even though the answer is I haven't used it professionally, I installed it on my machine just so I can look around and see how it works, and I explored with the different, creating an account or data and whatever the purpose of that application is, right? So. But those are the little things that the interviewers will say, wow, I didn't like that. Like that shows initiative. I didn't think about that. Like, and that is how you leave a positive impression on the interviewers, because although you might not have, like, you might not know, but they see that you did something, right? So to round it off, the last thing I want like, well, not the last thing, but this other example, right? Content creator, YouTuber, Anton Daniels. The other day, like, I watch his channel. Love the work that he does. The other day, he spoke about a job position that he was opening, and where he was going to. It was pretty much like 3-in-1 type of position: producer, editor, and some like maybe graphic. I don't know. Like maybe it was kind of like I don't know. It was some other position, but. The feedback that he got, like, and starting at like $100,000 a year, in Detroit, Michigan, and the feedback that he got, right, from people in the comments and stuff like that, saying, "Oh, that's not enough money. I would only do it for like, I don't know." One of the comments he said, "Oh, I don't know how to do any of this, but I want to do it for no less than $175,000." I'm like, what the heck? I'm like, what's wrong with you people? What the hell is wrong? And the reason that I bring this up, right? Do you know how many people would kill to do that job for free? Especially if they're trying to get a foot in the door. The network that he has, the people that you're going to meet, it's crazy that people would have this attitude of like and honestly, I think that job is paying too. I think he's paying too much. I think he's paying too much for that role, right? But the opportunity that you could have to be in the vicinity of so many people, and that you can learn from and build your own stuff. And it's like, this is the mentality. And it's crazy. Which leads me to my closing point of what am I going to be doing now? Right? Because I'm not just going to be talking to random people, spending 10 to 15 minutes writing up a nice response, and then I don't hear anything. Like, I'm like, oh, okay, I guess you didn't really need it, right? So I'm not having any more random conversations without any benefits to me, right? I've seen so many people, they spend their time, they spend their money, they spend their effort, they spend their care on other people only to be burned by them. And I'm like, you know what? I'd rather be doing cool stuff on streams, learning new technologies, building my own applications out, instead of spending the time answering people who don't really care, right? I'm not wasting my time on ex parte conversations, on private conversations for free, right? I'm not answering questions or giving advice in one-on-one Discord messages or emails. From now on, if there is a question, it's going to be answered publicly, right? So even if somebody sends me a question, I'm going to answer it on stream. It's going to be answered on Tuesday night Q&A shows. There might be a whole 5-minute segment, or if you leave me a comment on a video, I'll answer it there. Or during the break of a live stream, whether we're doing the software explorations, or we're doing a Saturday morning show, or even the morning shows, but it's going to be public. I'm not engaging in private conversations, in free private conversation with people, because they don't appreciate it. They don't value it. Me spending, like, using the time cost calculator, me spending just a little bit of time to think about a detailed response to an answer, and then no follow-up, no nothing. It's a waste of my time. It's not happening anymore. I'm done with that. If someone needs to have one-on-one conversation, one-on-one attention, either connect me. The link is in the description. I'll also put it here as right now. It should be like right there. are right there. Or join the Patreon, and we can and at the lowest paid tier, you can. Well, I will definitely message you back and forth. You can ask one of my, like, whoever's in the Patreon, who's here. When they message me in the Patreon, I always message them back. Might not be right away, right, at the lowest paid tier, but if you wanna have one-on-one, like if you wanna get coaching one-on-one, you have to join the Patreon and get a higher tier, tech prodigy, tech barbarian, whatever. If you want to become a tech elite, tech athlete, go there. And the things that I described here, the way that my tech barbarians, my tech prodigy members are leveling up, and they are strategizing. They're doing and what I'm starting to do now is regularly doing interview preparation with them, right? So that it's not when the time comes like, oh, and the way I do it, we get a job that they applied for or that they like, and then we just start prepping for it, interview style, questions, all that good stuff, right? That's how we're moving. For now, I'm still going to be doing the free 15-minute consultations, but that might change the busier that I get, the more projects that we start engaging in, that might change, right? But for now, keep doing it. But I have to make these changes because just the way that I see people move and how people don't appreciate. They expect things to. They expect people to just give them the game for free. I'll get messages like no hi, no hello. This is what I'm doing. I'm like, I just delete. I'm not wasting my time with that one. But I'm just not gonna answer stuff like people. They'll have questions. But I'm just. If it's valuable to you, you're gonna have to put in a little bit of effort. Come on a stream, subscribe to the channel, ask me a question in the chat, and as long as it's public, you're gonna get my answer. But if you need one-on-one time, Manek, or join the Patreon, techcoachralph.dev. Still doing 15-minute consultations for people who are interested in getting one-on-one coaching. But other than that, those are the ways to reach me. I go live almost every day. So if you want to talk, there's a way to do it. All right. But that is it for today. Wanted to get off all those thoughts of the things that I'm seeing and how people are leading to their own demise, their own failure. But it is what it is. It is what it is. Do I feel anything about it? Nope. I make the proper adjustments, same way that everybody else should. And for my friends who are winning out there, I suggest that you do the same thing. Stop with this, I just want to help everybody thing. No, people don't want your help. They don't give a damn about your help. They want it, but then they abuse it. So let them go. Do what you got to do. Focus on yourself. Go out there and win. All right. I know people are going to hate me for saying that, but guess what? I don't give a you know what. All right. With all that being said, all right. If you actually did like or care for what I just said today, do me a favor, like the video, share the video, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell so you can know every time that we go live and drop new content. Leave me a comment if you agree, if you disagree. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about it in the comments, not privately, because that's not happening anymore. Also, go to techcoachralph.dev where you can sign up to work with me one-on-one. We can communicate through Patreon messages. You can sign up for a coaching tier where we can work together. We can do our resume reviews, interview preps. If you need to learn a language, if you need to learn DevOps, if you need software engineering, testing, cybersecurity, whatever it is, there's a solution for you. I will take you to the promised land. So that's techcoachralph.dev. That is everything. I'm going to get out of here. If you didn't like it, so be it. If you loved it, then I appreciate you. All right. Yep. That's it. We're done. Thank you for tuning into another episode of Candid Conversations. This is Tech Coach Ralph. We are out.
In a world full of takers, I'm done playing nice. Gave my heart to the wreckage, but they all rolled the dice. Helping hands, they just miss, so I cut the string. Let them drown in the lessons, they don't want the sting. Let them die, let them burn. Watch the fire ignite. Let them go, let them burn. Watch the fire ignite. Let them go, let them learn on their own. You did what you had to, now let it be known. Stop feeling guilty, shine bright on your way. Those who belong will come back one day. Back one day. Oh, oh, oh. the love and the nurture they seek, but tough love's a crime to the weak and the meek. Flip the switch, now I'm walking away from the grind. I'm paving my path, leave them lost if they're blind. It's not my job to carry, let them stand tall. Let them go, let them burn, watch the fire ignite. Let them go, let them learn on their own. You did what you had to, now let it be known. Stop feeling guilty, shine bright on your way. Those who belong will come back one day. It's my job to carry, let them stand tall. Let them go, let them learn on their own. You did what you had to, now let it be known. Stop feeling guilty, shine bright on your way. Those who belong will come back one day.